Well, February is Eating Disorder Awareness Month, and for all the parents and grandparents out there, we want to discuss how social media usage in kids is especially now associated with disordered eating, and primarily binge eating disorder. That said, what is binge eating disorder and what do parents need to know in order to protect their children? Very important.
So here to help us guide through this conversation is Dr. Elizabeth Wassenaar. Thank you so much. A regional director of Recovery Center and Pathlight Mood and Anxiety Center. And we just appreciate you for being here. We know you're a wealth of knowledge on this really important topic. Can you start just by describing for our viewers, what is binge eating?
So binge eating is a compulsive loss of control eating behavior, and it is a part of binge eating disorder, which is the most common eating disorder, more common than anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa combined.
Yet I personally have never heard of it.
Exactly. It's highly underrecognized and highly underdiagnosed, and especially in kids. So this study is just such important information for all of us that care about people who might have eating disorders.
So talk to us about this new study that I know is making waves, because I heard that the participants are as young as 9 years old.
That's right. So this was a very important study that looked at the use of social media in young children, 9 and 10-year-olds, and how that connects to disordered eating. And what it found is that children who use more social media or stream more shows on their devices are more likely to have eating disordered behaviors, and especially binge eating disorder.
And social media, I mean, it's so prevalent and it affects us. We're adults. So I always think about, like, you know, the youth and my kids. I hope they never get on it. But honestly, it's a terrifying thought, because I know how seeing, you know, somebody in that perfect swimsuit makes me feel. I'm like, I'm gonna have a salad for dinner. But how are we seeing that show up in young kids too?
So this is part of what's so concerning, is the unrealistic body standards and unrealistic image standards that come through social media, combined with vulnerable minds who don't know how to sift through what's real and what's not, what's realistic. And then when you combine that with access to being bullied online or treated poorly by peers online, and the fact that they get a lot of information about the whole world all the time, everything feels out of control and bad. It's just a really perfect setup for a terrible disorder.
So how can we prevent this as parents, right? If there's a parent, a grandparent, caretaker watching right now, what are some of the red flags?
So to watch out for eating disorders, you always want to watch for a change in the way that your child is interacting with food or their body. So if they become more concerned about what they're eating or secretive about their eating patterns, that's something you should worry about. And then if they have mood changes, so if they become more depressed or withdrawn, or they don't like to do things they used to do, that's something as a parent I want you to work on and look out for. Regarding social media, I think it's really important that parents have visibility to what their kids are spending time with online and how much time they're spending. This was specifically associated with how much time online. So just limiting the amount of time might provide some protection.
And I have to imagine, like, us as caretakers and parents and grandparents, we are the model.
Right.
And we're not always, well, I'm speaking for myself, not for anybody else, I have not always had a healthy relationship with food. So I have to check myself, because I know I've got 2 little girls watching. What can we do to make sure we're fostering these habits?
And or social media, right?
True, yeah.
That's exactly right. So parents, grandparents, caregivers can watch what they're consuming on social media, make sure that your Instagram feed is also filled with more body positivity and neutrality rather than thin-centric or diet-centric messages. And then practice that. Practice honoring your body and being grateful for what your body can do for you rather than how it looks or what size it is.
What are your concerns with social media?
Yeah.
Is there like a time, you mentioned a time limit, like how much time should our children be streaming shows on YouTube, using social media?
You know, I think the thing is we don't know what a safe amount of consumption is, and that's part of what makes this scary. We know that kids are online more than they ever were before for school, for social interactions, and we know that there's more and more content that we as adults don't always have visibility to. So I think that the key is that you are interacting with your kid about what they're seeing online. Talk to your children about it at those family meals. Talk about what they're viewing and how you can support them to be more resilient.
Life-saving advice. Thank you so much, doctor. And for more information on disordered eating, I think we could all learn a little bit more about it. You can head to eatingrecoverycenter.com.